It is now time for What's Hot, where we talk about stories that have us all talking.
Today we're joined by Eric Paulsen from BizStarts Milwaukee, and Jeff Wagner is back. So Mitt Romney won a big victory in Illinois, 47% of the vote in yesterday's primary. But Rick Santorum still has a lot of momentum with a lot of delegates still up for grabs. Who do you think is going to secure the presidential nomination?
This is all over but the shouting. I mean, the reality is that the numbers are such that for Santorum to get the nomination, he would have to secure about 65 to 70% of the remaining delegates. It's just not going to happen. This election all along has been all about organization. Mitt Romney has been running for president for about 6 years. He's got organization in these states. It's going to be daunting. Now, I don't know if Santorum is going to pull out at some point in time, but it's all over.
Well, let's talk about those percentages for a second, Jeff, before we invite our friend Eric in here. In order to get the nomination outright, Mitt Romney now needs to get like 45, 46% of all the delegates that are remaining. He's not consistently winning 45 to 46% of the delegates. Could this still come down to a battle at the convention over a sliver of delegates to come over to his side?
No.
No?
I mean,
I don't think so either.
Newt Gingrich is going to drop out, or if he hangs on, he's going to be a spoiler. Ron Paul's not a factor. I think what you're seeing is more and more people are coalescing around, and I've been predicting this was going to happen, they're coalescing around the inevitable nominee, and I think that's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, I'd
so
be
eventually
shocked.
all this nonsense is going to go away?
Yeah, basically.
You know, I mean, there's just been so much back and forth, and like we've talked about before, first Herman Cain was the point person, and that, you know, it just keeps rotating, and it never really seems to
Whoever's
be Romney
not Mitt Romney this week.
Yeah.
Right, and Romney's the one who's always consistently there. He's always there. He always ends up with a lot of delegates, and the Republicans delegates, and the Republicans are just going to shrug their shoulders and nominate him. It's not going to be Santorum.
Right, yeah, and again, organization, I mean, I've been preaching this for months and months. Organization is what wins Republican primaries nationwide and in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, remember this moving into the, Senate elections, the primaries and stuff moving forward. And Mitt Romney, he's organized in all the different states. A lot of these candidates aren't even on the ballots in some of these states moving forward.
And he's still viewed as the only one who can beat Obama. And for the Republicans, that's the #1 thing.
Yeah, a lot of Republicans are looking at that. They want the most electable candidate, even though I think many of us acknowledge it's always tough to beat a sitting president. But Rick Santorum isn't going to be it's candidate. That's just the reality.
November seems awfully close.
Or yet so far away.
I know.
Already, so
I know. Depends
Unless
on
you're
the
Mitt
day.
Romney, it's far away. Coming up next.
Some lawmakers want to put stricter warnings on video games. What they want those labels to say.
Eric Paulsen from BizStarts Milwaukee and Jeff Wagner from News Radio 620 WTMJ. So 6 Marquette basketball players were cited for being in a bar underage. They're not 21. The players have already been disciplined by the team, so they won't be held out of any future games. Should they be allowed to play in the tournament? And, if they've already sat out, I mean, if that's why DJO and a bunch of other players sat out that West Virginia game, isn't that the punishment?
I'm sure they've already been dealt with. This happened on January 29th, I believe. And why would you choose to hold them out of the tournament at this time? I mean, they've been punished. If you want to punish them again later, fine, but you're just punishing the entire team if you hold them out of the tournament right now.
I think on a scale of like 1 to 10, with 1 being no big deal and 10 being, oh my God, this is the end of the world, to me this is a .05. I have a confession to make here. When I turned 18, the drinking age in the state of Wisconsin was 18, but where I went to college it was 21. Well, there were times when I was 19 and 20 and the statute of limitations is blown where I went out with my friends, and if I could get into a nightclub, even though the drinking age was 21, I was getting into that nightclub, and it didn't make me a bad person. I just don't see this as a big deal at all.
And I think people are thrown because of when it happened and when the news came out. So a lot of people don't understand that they've already been punished.
That's the most suspicious part about it. For the NCAA tournament, I mean, anytime I did something illegal in college, it came out right away. And
and the reason it took this long to come out was Milwaukee Police Department. I know this happened January 29th. There was a tweet about it. There was a call for service in the police log. I asked Milwaukee Police for information at the end of January. Don Walker over at the JS did the same thing. But the cops decided, we're not going to drop this until they're getting ready to leave for the Sweet 16.
Right, and you know the other interesting thing too. This isn't even underage drinking. I was kidding about underage drinking, but this is they weren't cited for that.
They were just
there.
Right, they went into the nightclub, and so technically they're not supposed to do that. But there's not even the drinking involved. Nothing burger. Nothing
All right,
burger.
we have a third topic here, guys. 2 lawmakers want new warning labels for most video games. They want those games to say, warning, exposure to violent video games has been linked to aggressive behavior. It would appear on every video game except for those targeted to the youngest of children, should there be new labels for violent
So
video
dumb.
games.
Just makes you want to slap them for even thinking about it, doesn't
I
it?
think that'll work,
I'm telling
But
you.
then we got to put a warning on you. You know, you might be slapping somebody for that.
Most video game purchasers are men over the age of 30, first of all. It's not like this is in the 80s and 90s when most video games were bought by kids. But I mean, the violence is on the cover. I mean, the commercials show a ton of violence. I don't think a label is going to make any bit of difference. I think these are politicians.
You read the label and go, oh, I guess I'm not going to buy it.
These are politicians trying to make it look like they care and they're trying to do something.
Yeah, look, first of all, it comes back to the parents. I mean, obviously, you want to look at the video game, and you don't want to let your 5-year-old be playing some of these real adult games. But I mean, I just got my butt whipped about 2 weeks ago by my 5-year-old nephew, who's got one of these Wii games where you're going through these different levels and trying to shoot things and stuff.
They're pretty good at that stuff.
Oh my goodness, he just kicked my tail. But okay, but yes, there's a little bit of violence. He's not going to become a serial killer because of that, I'm sure.
A warning label will never replace good parenting.
Right.
All right, thank you both. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back.